Good evening all. I hope they are all research scholars, students, delegates and all the senior scientists of this session. The topic of my presentation, in contrast to the previous topic, it involves a little bit of applicability of the modern science techniques. I will be touching upon only the preliminary, the first stage of validation of Ayurvedic drugs, that is the in vitro tools, and I think most of you all know about it also, that in the final complete validation of Ayurvedic drugs, the first stage is mechanism-based screening of Ayurvedic drugs. The first stage will be in vitro. The second usually goes for radiotracer, modern radiotracer labeling techniques. Then it follows by animal trials, and finally it goes to human trials. So that is how a link is created between the four steps, and finally validating and also to some extent understanding whether the in vitro tool was a tool that can be reliable for sort of coming to a conclusion that the drug has that activity or that it has the property. By in vitro, whether we can come to a conclusion whether in vitro tool is valid or not, we will come to it. Unless you finish the four stages of evaluation, you will not be able to come to a conclusion that the in vitro tool which you have used in the beginning, that is in the preliminary stage, is valid or not. Now I will be touching upon only very few aspects because short of time, and it becomes very elaborate also. And the major aspects I will be covering will be the non-invasive tools. Non-invasive in the sense, I think both being Ayurvedic and non-Ayurvedic students and delegates, you must be understanding about in vitro and in silico. In silico is nothing but it is computer modeling, and in vitro is nothing but in glass, that is in the lab, and in vivo is into animal preclinical and clinical studies. And finally, after covering the various in vitro tools for screening, that is majorly the cell membrane systems and cell molecular systems, I will be touching upon one of the enzymes which proved to be a very reliable tool for screening plants with plants having the proper property for hyperlipidemia. So, if we are planning to screen some plants and you want to test some plants whether they are having anti-hyperliptic properties or not, this particular tool with an enzyme called acetyl-CoA carboxylase could be helpful for your initial stages of screening. This is what we completed. As far as this particular enzyme is concerned, we completed the 4 steps of evaluation. Now, why do we go for in vitro evaluation? The first thing is, you want to know the mechanism-based screening, that is, how the drug is acting. Initially, for you all to understand, we have to adopt a tool where a large number of samples at a large number of concentrations can be tried out. So that is one reason why we go for this type of evaluation. Second thing is the ethical problems with the animal experiments. And finally, apart from all this, the number of samples, the concentration of the samples, the effectiveness, how economic it is compared to immediately going for animal testing, and the number of concentrations you can try out. So keeping these view all these aspects, we find that in vitro initially could be helpful before we jump into any animal testing or human trials. And in vivo, you cannot be keep testing, retesting and repeating as much times as you do in vitro evaluation. There are disadvantages which I will be explaining to you in the end. Now here I will just go through some of the key enzymes. Now whenever a new molecule is getting introduced in modern therapeutics, the first thing they do is radiotracer technology. That is, they use C14, the radioactive carbon, and to tag the molecule and see its distribution within the metabolism, the pathways, key pathways where it is located. That is one. That any molecule that in modern therapeutics and when they are getting introduced, the same we are trying to apply whether in validating Ayurvedic drugs also, the same can be applied or not. And one of the novel approaches, I think a couple of years they have adopted at BARC and Leelavati Hospital and Research Center is they provide the plant with urea tagged with C14, and the plant parts, after harvesting the plant parts are given to the animals, and the animals are not sacrificed, but totally they are radiographed to see the distribution of the drug. So this is one novel approach for you all, without actually, it becomes a non-invasive tool as well as a more authentic way of seeing where the drug is getting distributed. And because the whole process of adsorption, distribution, metabolism and elimination, this has to be completed for you to understand the activity of the drug and adverse effects or no beneficial effects, either way, desired effects, all that could be understood by understanding the bioavailability and biodistribution. These four aspects are something which is lacking in this field of science, though it is time tested, a lot of arguments and debate could go on. Still today the lacuna is on, first thing is the distribution, then its bioavailability, its elimination and also its metabolism. There is lack of data on this. And these are some of the enzymes which I have. Apart from these enzymes which I am listing today, there are many more enzymes, ion channels, and there are ligands, receptors, then transporters, which you all can go through and find out with your own insight into the metabolic pathway, decide to select which particular key enzyme could be a target molecule for that property which you are trying to test for. Now, for example, you take butyrylcholinesterase. This is one of those enzymes which is involved in detoxification and also for AD, that is Alzheimer's diseases. So this becomes a very attractive target for any inhibitor for you to test, and if it is having inhibiting properties. Suppose like any other allopathic drug, the plant-based drug has good inhibiting properties against this enzyme, then that could be a remarkable thing, because these allopathic drugs have side effects of both half-life as well as other adverse effects. Though the list of enzymes, key enzymes that are target molecules are many, I will be touching upon only on few essays, because it will take a lot of time if I start elucidating the function of each enzyme, the mechanism, and how the assay has to be done. All those things will take a lot of time. Now, for example, you are taking a COMET assay. That really shows you how much of the DNA is damaged in the presence of the extracts, whether that damage has been prevented or not. Then the standard enzyme of interest is acetylcholinesterase. Now this particular enzyme has been an attractive target for most of the modern drugs that are used for curing Alzheimer's diseases, but it has its own side effects. Now this enzyme, how generally, it's a simple assay which we do in the lab using Elman's reagent, and we just estimate the end product, and it will be a simple spectrophotometric reading what we are doing. But definitely it gives you leads, a lot of data regarding assessing whether it has that activity in curing or in targeting this particular disease through this enzyme acetylcholinesterase. Remember one thing you all should understand is, most of these drugs are either inhibitors of the enzyme activity, or they could be just product inhibition could take place. Either way, there is some sort of covalent modifications in the pathways that results in deteriorating the activity of that leads to the Alzheimer's disease or any neurodegenerative diseases. And some of the assays that is recorded for anti-inflammatory, they are so simple. At the same time, gives you a lot of data. We try out in screening as many as number of samples, especially with HRBC membrane stabilizing activity and APA activity. They all resemble the lysosomal membrane, and since all these membrane disruption results in the release of these enzymes, any stabilization property of this membrane, HRBC membrane, HRB is nothing but RBC. There we just draw the blood, collect the packed RBCs, see the effect in the presence of the extract and the absence of the extract. Then other simple assays is antioxidant activity. You cannot suffice your results or come to a conclusion of the results with one antioxidant. Try to check its activity against a range of radicals, then come to a conclusion whether it has potent antioxidant. Mere showing potent important antioxidant activity at high concentration does not we should not come to a conclusion that it has good activity. It should be able to at least show very good activity below 1 mg level. Most of the publications or most of the results what we come across is it will be showing antioxidant activate 10 mg, 5 mg, which I should say when it compares to quercetin or ascorbic acid, it is much very higher, and according to us, it doesn't really have any promising antioxidant activity. And these are the enzymes, I think two of these enzymes have been covered by the previous presenter of alpha amylase and glucosidase, where the conversion of the carbohydrates to oligosaccharides and from oligosaccharides to glucose molecules gets inhibited, thereby the circulation of glucose also gets lowered. That one way of, the other thing is if it is glycosylation is taking place. This also is a simple assay where we collect the blood, add glucose, leave it for 72 hours and then find out whether there is glycosylation has been prevented or not, and that if that prevention is there, then it has anti-hyperglycemic properties. And I don't know if anyone has attempted to doing this wound healing assay through the CAM, chronioarenatic membrane. It is a simple assay. We are having a fertilized egg for 9-day-old fertilized egg, which shows the level of angiogenesis. That is, the number of nerves increases in the presence of this extract. Just by opening out a small window in the eggshell, we will be able to assess whether there is increased number of vessel formation there. And these are simple assays, MICs and zone of inhibition, just to test the antibacterial and antimicrobial activity. But I would like to tell that just you cannot come to a conclusion with MICs and zones, because the key target enzymes for fungal enzymes, let it be glucan synthase or beta-lactamase, try to see if those drugs which you are testing also has inhibitory effect on the cell membrane constituents and the cellular constituents. Yeah. Now, one of the enzymes which we took into study and did a detail is ACC, and I think I will not elaborate on this enzyme because all of you know it is an important target enzyme for hyperlipidemic drugs. And we were into working, this is part of our project with DBT, and I will not be able to divulge much of the data without their permission, but generally what we have done at 4 stages, I will just give it in a nutshell, is first we isolated the enzyme from the liver. We have targeted the acetyl-CoA carboxylase. It's a key enzyme which leads to the synthesis of fat and fatty acids, and we wanted to inhibit, we wanted to test as per the text. Most of the things which were listed in the ancient text with hyperlipidic properties, we tried to see whether it has inhibitory properties, and in the course of our study we found that most of them, if not all, had good inhibitory properties. Followed by this, we went for an in silico evaluation also. These were the plants which we were tested. Apart from this assay, we also went for the in silico analysis, where we did a docking studies, trying to see if in vitro, in silico, finally in vivo, and also cell line studies. All of them gave the similar results, so that we will come to a conclusion that whether this in vitro tool which we have initially taken for evaluating the hypolipidemic property of the drugs which we have taken from the ancient text, whether this tool can be used and also suggested for further evaluation of any other plants which also show properties. And we found that based on the data of both preclinical and in silico modeling, that most of them do possess very good ACC inhibiting properties. And now this same thing we would like to again confirm with human clinical trials. With that, we will be able to conclude that taking ACC assay, that is acetyl-CoA carboxylase assay, which is a key enzyme in fatty acid biosynthesis, as a good potential tool for evaluating the hypolipidemic properties of the drugs. Thank you.